Welcome back to Being Human and Caring for Aging Adults. I am Brittany Maxwell Techmeyer.
I'm Becky Rowlett.
All right, Becky, today, what are some of the what's some of the advice that you would give, or what are some of the things that come up when we are encountering our parents aging?
Just thinking about this, I think what I see a lot of people that are aging struggle with is that their capabilities are less than what they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that can come out into and look like frustration, agitation, anger.
Mm-hmm.
It can come out in depression.
Mm-hmm. Or even just a general lack of care about whatever that topic is.
Yes.
We don't often think a diminished capacity maybe, but like, oh, they just don't care about cooking anymore, or they don't care about bathing anymore, but it really could mean something deeper, couldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Big time. Because taking things in little chunks, sometimes that becomes very hard, just like bathing, for instance, and thinking about like slipping in the tub.
Mm-hmm.
With all of this, it's remembering to show grace and patience,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing them to do what they can independently. And when they do need help and support, there's more than just you.
Where do you feel like is a good line to gauge how to know how much support to give and how or when to kind of lay off and let be?
That's a delicate line because some people, as they age, aren't able to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And just thinking about like housekeeping or meals, balanced meals, and things like that, rather than it being a confrontation, or it's more of a talk like, this seems to be challenging. There are Meals on Wheels, there's lots of options. You can always make extra food. It's the pride. It's the pride thing that's hard to let go of.
Right. Whether the aging parent realizes what the capacity is diminishing or they don't, they're still a human being losing their independence.
Yes.
And so that part is really challenging and can hit on so many other psychological factors.
Yes.
Yeah. It's almost as if we need to reverse it. And we did the podcast about how to support teens. And it's almost like we need to take a step back and move back into that role with our older parents, in the spirit of collaboration rather than taking over as if they were a small child. And it might get to that.
Yes.
But it's also not assuming that they have everything on their own anymore.
There are a lot of things that have changed over time when it comes to banking online, phone calls. There's so many more phone calls coming in that attempt to
prey on.
Yes.
Yeah, prey on people.
It's hard to even think about when
and senior citizens are at the biggest risk. Yeah, there's a lot of dangers in the world that as one's cognitive functions are going down that people just don't perceive. Yeah. And so maybe it's just some of it's just having an awareness and an honest conversation with your loved ones about where they are in various parts of their life.
Yes. And things that can be helpful when people are kind of declining, like, for instance, at night, like closing the blinds at dusk and turning on a light. For some people, they're very sensitive when it comes to shadows, and when it comes to mirrors. For some people, it kind of causes agitation because they see their parent in the mirror rather than themselves.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so in those points when there's something that's a sensitivity that comes up, mm-hmm. the idea really is to not challenge it or make it seem like it's ridiculous, but to yes. just say, okay,
honor it.
How
mm-hmm.
can we honor this yes. and bring comfort to the situation?
Yes.
There's no need to argue about it. It makes you uncomfortable. Let's make you comfortable again.
And that is their reality. Yeah. So when we push back, rather than just saying where they're at, let's say that they choose to use the checkbook and don't do any online banking. That's okay.
Yeah.
The goal is that they pay all their bills.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter which way it gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Treating an adult with respect is everything. That's yeah. what everyone wants.
It's almost as if we're really supporting the continuance of independence for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And another thing too is like, as children and adults and elderly, getting outside on a daily basis mm-hmm. helps you sleep better. Like, that wanting to nap and staying indoors kind of screws up your circadian rhythm. Mm-hmm. And getting outside, fresh air, vitamin D helps you naturally want to fall asleep at night.
Yeah, getting enough exercise and movement so mm-hmm. they can maintain a healthy sleep diet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And viewing it as activity,
mm-hmm.
Because for some people, exercise is like, well, I didn't exercise, therefore I'm a bad person, or some of that stuff.
Or I'm just a person that doesn't want to
yes. mm-hmm.
go to aerobics or
yes.
lift weights. But
mm-hmm.
if you say we want your body to be moving,
mm-hmm.
that's a whole
yeah.
different thing.
Like gardening is
yeah.
moving. Like
right.
Any activity outside is wonderful for us.
Well, I'd say that too, that encourage connection to things.
Yes.
So socially and also with their interests, because isolation is such an easy thing to come in advanced age, and things like engaging with friends or,
yes.
or engaging our brains with creativity and learning still, and it's just so very important as
yes.
well.
Yes, that's huge.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, not that I can think of. How about you? I mean, there's probably, we could go on and on,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. Forever and ever.
Yeah, but maybe this is a good place to stop for today.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us and being human. We'll see you next time.